The Second Opium War, also known as the Arrow War, was a complex conflict that unfolded from 1856 to 1860, pitting the Qing Dynasty of China against a coalition of Western powers, primarily comprising Britain and France. This war, a sequel to the First Opium War, 1839 to 1842, was emblematic of the broader tensions between Imperial China and the expanding Western influence in the 19th century. The immediate catalyst for the war was the controversial seizure of the Arrow, a Chinese-owned ship flying a British flag, by Chinese officials in 1856. This incident provided a pretext for British and French forces to intervene militarily, ostensibly to protect their citizens and interests in China. However, beneath the surface, the conflict was driven by deeper economic, political, and diplomatic factors. China's resistance to foreign influence and trade practices, coupled with its reluctance to open more ports to Western trade, had been a long-standing source of frustration for the Western powers. The opium trade, which was illegal in China but highly profitable for British traders, further fueled tensions. The British and French sought to expand their access to Chinese markets and ensure the protection of their economic interests. The Western coalition against China included not only Britain and France but also the United States and Russia. The conflict unfolded in a series of battles and sieges, with key engagements occurring in cities such as Canton, the Taku forts, and ultimately culminating in the occupation of Beijing in 1860. The looting and destruction of the Old Summer Palace during the occupation symbolized the humiliation suffered by the Chinese Qing Dynasty. The diplomatic attempts to settle the disputes, such as the Treaty of Tientsin in 1856, were ineffective as China failed to comply with the terms, leading to a resumption of hostilities. The eventual treaties that concluded the war, namely the Treaty of Tientsin, 1856, and the Convention of Peking, 1860, imposed significant concessions on China. These included the opening of additional treaty ports, the legalization of the opium trade, and the payment of substantial indemnities to the Western powers. The consequences of the Second Opium War were profound. The treaties further weakened the authority of the Qing dynasty, contributing to its eventual decline. The conflict underscored the stark power imbalance between China and the Western imperial powers, fueling perceptions of Chinese weakness and vulnerability. The war also highlighted the clash between traditional Chinese values and the forces of globalization and modernization that were sweeping the world during the 19th century. Ultimately, the Second Opium War left a lasting mark on China's history, shaping its trajectory in an era of increasing Western influence and imperial expansion.